Our friends in Emerald Stair have promised shipments of food and supplies to help fight the food shortage entirely.
Hear me, Paradise! Did we not come here to escape the Empire? Through the Imperium,
Welcome back. That cave coral gives off a beautiful glow, doesn't it? I would not eat it though. Trust me.
Well, this is it, I guess. Feels very different from the last time I left Galawain's tusks. I will say, it's nice to look out and see Solace still standing. Thanks for that. Not everyone saw it that way. I guess I'm glad you did.
Solace is still standing. And so are you. We're in this together.
Just so you know, Kai, it's starting to sound like you like me.
If you happen to need a reminder, do let us know. Brooding in silence can be quite the mood killer.
Not to spoil the moment with good news, but I doubt the rest of the island has been quiet while we've been looking for the garden. Things have only gotten more tense since Fior, and the Steel Garrote probably hasn't been doing us any favors on that front.
Especially when they're led by a woman who doesn't seem interested in staying dead. Not to mention, after we take care of the Envoy's little god problem, we'll still have an empire bearing down on us.
Who knew an archmage could be so relatable?
Can't say I'm too excited about just walking into the garden. I grew up learning I needed to protect that place, but it never felt like more than a children's tale to me.
I hear you. This island is weird enough when all we have to worry about are vengeful plans and soul-altering corruption.
Am I the only one who's looking forward to the garden? We're pioneers, stepping into the great unknown, a land of mystery.
We have to remember to love them in spite of their lack of proper enthusiasm, dearie.
That's the spirit. And funny you should mention it. I have a theory about the garden. Or a warning, depending on how you want to look at it. Sapadal has been imprisoned a long time. The garden will be a reflection of their dreams, their nightmares, their madness.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw visions or hallucinations, and not even the fun kind. Anytime, darling.
Before we go any further, I have to ask you something. You told the Inquisitor that you intend to kill Sapadal. Is that still the plan? If only it were that simple. Sapadal is responsible for the spiritual health of the living lands, and the island has suffered for it. No matter what the Inquisitor said, I don't believe there's a right or wrong choice to make here. Just the one you believe in. Just one. Remember, we're stepping into a realm that is both physical and spiritual in nature. If you can call it nature. There's no telling how long we'll be gone. For all we know, time could run backwards in the garden.
Not a chance. We're a crew now, so you're stuck with me until the end. Marius?
I told you I'd be with you till the end. I don't go back on my promises. What about you, Giada?
You're not going into the garden without me. I have to see this with my own eyes. Yatsli, if you feel like running back to Quilici, now would be the time. No one would think less of you.
And tell Quilici that I missed out on the most exciting part.
And you don't have to. We pull together, and that's plenty.
I plan on wandering the garden whether I'm traveling with you or not. I have to find out what the big deal is.
Agreed. I'm not waiting in camp while the rest of you have all the fun. Hope to see you out there, Marius.
Well, let's go then. We can't keep your god waiting.
Tell me, where did you learn to hunt?
Early on, I learned from a warden named Ilinka. After that, I learned a lot from just going out and surviving on my own.
I'll bet you're a natural. You make it look effortless.
If you know what you're doing, it's not really that hard.
Some hunt with their eyes and ears, but you are hunting with your soul.
Not sure I get what you mean.
I believe you were a true hunter in a past life. An apex predator, like a Stelgar. You may not know it, but those instincts are still yours. Lying dormant, like a cat in the tall grass.
Right, that's me. Marius, king of the grasslands.
With a little animancy, we could awaken your former self. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh no. Absolutely not.
Oh well. Let me know when you change your mind.
Envoy, what do you need? If I must.
When you find Sapadal, I hope you tell him how much I love what they've done with this place. I'm a man of hidden depths. What's not to love about floating islands and a spectral tree? Besides, as divine prisons go, I can imagine much worse. You make it sound like we have a ticking bomb under our feet. And judging from Sapadal's outbursts at Mount Forja and Nakukubel, you're probably not far off. They're a few provocations away from disaster. Exactly. And what are the odds that centuries of imprisonment have improved their temper? Setting them free means gambling with the lives of everyone in the living lands. It's not worth it, but it's not my call. And I don't envy you having to deal with a loose cannon of a god. But I envy even less the mess you're going to have if, when, we escape this place. Lucky thing your emperor sent his best representative as his envoy, right? You'll have your work cut out for you. You may have averted the attack on Fjord, but this is one situation where it's the thought that counts. And yeah, I know that's on the Steel Garrote, but it's not lost on anyone that your people despise animancy. Not when Heelgard banned the practice in Paradise. That's mighty principled of you, but your moral stance isn't going to cool any tensions. Not if Heelgard's still bringing soldiers into Paradise by the shipload. And that's not all. You helped Ludwig destroy Nakukubel, and while most people don't give a tarnished skate for godless ruins, they'll see that as a powerful demonstration of siege weaponry. And then there's Solace. You might have saved the keep, but no one's going to talk about the disaster that didn't happen. They're going to talk about why Mount Forja erupted after all this time. This is why I stuck to soldiering. Fairly or not, a lot of blame's going to be laid at Adir's door. And if I had to guess, I don't think Heelgard's been helping matters while you've been out here. If and when we get out of here, we're walking into a powder keg. And you'll have to choose a side. That's the part I don't envy. I admire your principles, but don't underestimate what they could demand of you. Look, I've been there. I fought for Rauatai's interest in the Deadfire for longer than I like to admit. And lost my stomach for it eventually. That's how I wound up here. But I will tell you now, I never could have fought my own brothers and sisters. I hope that's not what it comes down to. But I'll understand if that's a line you can't cross. I don't mean to burden you. It's late, and you've still got a god to face. Just know that whatever you choose, I'll fight alongside you. I'm with you to the end of this. Anytime. Good night, Envoy. You restless too? It's hard to tell how much time is passing. I barely plan further than the next meal, and you're asking me? I don't know, Envoy. I just try to take each day and each battle as it comes. And you can see where that's gotten me. But I think it's possible to be too prepared. I know. That's got to make this difficult advice to follow. You know what all of us think by now. Ultimately, you're the one who has to decide what to do with Sapadal and where your loyalties lie. My advice? Get a good night's rest, and when the moment comes, follow your instincts. and I stand by it. Next time you need to find a bakery, I'm your man. You're the one who founded God's prison. I hear you, though. It's easier to give that advice than to take it. But look at it this way. Whatever you choose, you'll end the Dream Scourge, and you'll give the Living Lands a future. And I'd wager that's better than where we are now. I'm not sure I'll be much help, but I'll try. Night, Envoy.
I'm starting to suspect that truly, Hi, meeting. How can I help, darling? Sweet dreams, Envoy.
What do you need? Not before I've done some reading.
So, this is it. The spiritual epicenter of the Living Lands. Where it all began, and where it all ends. For so long I have looked out on a horizon full of possibilities. Now that it's here, I'm too scared to breathe. Oh, why am I so anxious? I think that I'm juggling so many variables that it's impossible to focus on even one. Do you remember when Manto Pastor sent you after the heart of an Adragan? That was nothing compared to this. We are standing in the beating heart of the Living Lands. Just imagine what we can do with it. Animancers don't ask why. We ask how. My parents were going to build a better world for Animancers. That dream was their legacy to me. You and I have come farther than they did. To an impossible place where anything can happen. Anything. I'll try to remember that. I don't know what's going to happen, but you've had my back since the beginning. I won't forget it. Well, that depends. I know a few spooky stories about the Living Lands. They may or may not have anything to do with the garden.
Okay, but if something goes bump in the night, I'm waking you up.
Let me think of a good one. There are so many, I can't decide. Which do you want to hear first? I know one about a ranger's dream, one about a haunted well, and one about a golden city. Many years ago, when Fior Mesiverno was barely a dot on the map, an Animancer got lost in the wilderness. He came upon a pair of ancient trees, their trunks and branches intertwined. A strange light shone in the space between the trees, and beyond that light, a city of gold. So the Animancer returned with an axe to chop the trees apart and fit his body through the narrow gap. But with every blow of his axe, the towers of the golden city fell. The walls crumbled, the lights flickered out. By the time he made it through, there was nothing left. Only the bones of a once mighty civilization. As for the two trees, they were dead, hacked to splinters, leaving him no path back the way he came. Who said it was true? It's very strange. I can't remember who told me that story, and no one claims to have heard it before. Of course. Which one did you have in mind? One sunny day, a ranger took a nap in the woods of Emerald Stair. He awoke to a forest of dead trees, the night sky full of unfamiliar stars. After getting his bearings, he walked in the direction of Fior Messivernal, but the settlement was gone. In its place was the most beautiful garden, hills bursting with flowers, the grass as soft as Valiant silk. Enchanted by this vision, he bent to pick a rose, but its thorn cut like a knife, severing 3 fingers. Then a voice filled his head, shouting, "Go now, before the land takes you, body and soul." He awoke in his own bed, a wilted rose clutched in his 2-fingered hand. Perhaps, but that's what I like about it. Of course. Which one did you have in mind? Once upon a time, a young girl left town to fetch water from the local well. After pulling up the rope, she discovered the head of a Delimgan, one of the tree folk, staring at her from the bucket. "Return me to my grove," it said, "and I will grant you 3 wishes." So she carried the head into a peaceful clearing and sat it down on a tree stump. First, she wished for long life. The head granted her wish. Second, she wished to be impervious to a sword blade. Granted. And finally, she wished to know what happens after we die. No one ever saw her again. All they found was an Adra pillar in the middle of a clearing, next to an old stump. Very perceptive. What do you think it is? I have my own opinion, but I'm curious about yours. That is true of many places, not just the living lands. These stories might not shine any light on the garden, but they could inform the way we think about it. First, the garden is beyond all mortal understanding. If you think you're safe here, you're not. And second, when you walk into the unknown, make sure to bring a friend. Life is full of such contradictions. I say it's better to acknowledge them rather than pretend they don't exist. Hey, you're a good listener. Not everyone has the patience to hold their questions to the end. Alas, that is all I can tell you about the garden. For now, at least. You wanted... Not before I've done some reading. Does anyone want to share a scary story?
No.
Gods no.
Why not? We've got everything we need. The crackling campfire, the foreboding ambiance.
I actually need to get some rest tonight. I'd rather not spend the whole night screaming in my sleep.
Well, I liked Giada's story.
Thank you, Yardsley. I suppose I owe the rest of you an apology. I didn't mean to frighten anyone.
Your stories are very good. They're just feeling a little too close to reality right now.
I'll try and think of something more pleasant then. Like a mouse and a rabbit going on pathetic little adventures.
wonder if Yahtzee brought her ladder. Well, that's convenient. Nice of someone to mark that spot for us.
That's it. The heart of the garden. Sapadal's cage.
Aye, aye.
Cain was here? As in, he out the door. You won't get through. They're off! They're off! They're off! They're off! Speed up! Good shooting, Kai. They're off! Don't see a better way down. You first. I'll be right behind you. I don't plan on getting much sleep. I don't know what I expected. Everything here feels wrong, as if we're standing in the eye of a storm. Can you feel it? Essences radiating from the very stones on which we walk. This is a place of power, forgotten by time. We are insignificant by comparison. Does that answer your question? Good, because I'm not sure any of that made sense. One word of advice: trust nothing you see or hear. For all we know, this is happening in your head. Or better yet, in mine. Who could rest at a time like this?
Envoy, pinch me. I must be dreaming. I've long imagined what the garden could look like, but... even all the depictions I've seen in all the ruins, they didn't do it. And that's not even counting all the little surprises we've gotten. And you're on the way to meet your god. Years of being an unclaimed godlike, and now It feels like a typhoon of information has hit us. I've yet to catch my breath. There are even floating sky islands. How are you staying so calm? You could be a bit more excited. I just want to focus on memorizing everything I can. The architecture is obviously in pristine condition, let alone... Just be sure to remember everything we see. I'll want to pick your brain later. Yes, I know. This place is... It's more than I could have ever dreamed. I know we have to find your god and figure out what to do with them, but... Oh, I almost feel like I could stay... Oh, fair point. I suppose I'd have to make supply runs from time to time. Still, I just... Oh, it's breathtaking. And think how much I could learn here. Pockets of time in the lives of the Akita are here, and... I know. On a tight schedule. I'll come back and study everything later. Let's get moving. We really must... Don't mind if I do.
You restless too? I barely... What? Oh. What? And... Rest while you can.
Envoy, what do you need? Thanks for talking. Yatsley, I have a question.
Oh no, what's wrong?
Oh, nothing's wrong. I just want to know how you handle the traps in Godless Ruins so easily.
Oh, is that all? Just simple practice daily. You have enough of your fur cut by a giant swinging pendulum, and you learn to be a mite more careful.
Right. Maybe you can save me some cut fur and... Envoy, what do you... The only one we... But... Until next time. Right.
A breath held. Trepidation. You are close, yet distant still. The moon has many faces. Different songs for different days. We know your light. We seek what swims inside you as you wane. We wonder. Deer leaps at its reflection in the lake. A debt of knowledge we concede. A question like the ocean. What is wanting? What is what? No, we must recall, plumb the depths of our memory. We would run, roll with the tide, sink our fingers into new earth. Whisper in the fields, lift the hills gently in our hands. We must remember, yes, new blooms from pruned growth. Vengeance denied, squandered. This cannot be. We spoke of growth. We speak of freedom when the hand still clasps around our throat. Wake now. Find us.
Before you ask, yes, I'm all right. I can't get my bearings.
No time to waste. We need to find your god. Hey!
Envoy, what do you... You too.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Or am I going mad? What is the meaning of this? It can't be real. This is an illusion. A joke. Tell me we're both seeing the same thing. At least I'm not going mad. Why am I cursed to see this again? Why does the memory follow me wherever I go? Wanna know what I think? I think someone's laughing at me. Whoever is responsible, I'm tired of the bullshit. Step forward and answer for yourself, coward!
Godlike of Sapadal, long have we awaited you.
Finally, you've come home.
This is almost as bad as Ringram's creepy sculptures.
Oh my gods. They're alive? I can hear them, but not with my ears. It feels like someone hitting my soul with a tuning fork. What do you think you're doing?
Giada Castell, welcome.
Wait, you know me? How do you know me?
For centuries, our whispers filled the silence. Then we heard your mother's call.
My mother? You heard her?
She reached out to us, using the tool you now carry.
But that would have been years ago. The first time she used the phantasmal focus. The only time she used it.
We heard, and Sapadal answered, saying in a great voice, "We are here. You have found us."
But when Sapadal speaks, the living lands trembles. The voice of a god can be a terrible thing.
No, this can't be. What exactly happened to my parents? Tell me, please. I need to know.
Sapadal wanted to be heard, and in so doing, twisted your family in body and soul, broke them into a more suitable shape.
Sapadal does not know the limits of their strength. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made? Do you have any idea what my life has been since your little mistake?
After the incident, your parents were like us, and we took pity. So we helped them move on, as they wanted.
In the end, they thought only of you, their pride, and their love.
That's it. That's really it. The answer I've been searching for all these years. Sapadal destroyed my family.
We are companions, toys, diversions. Sapadal fashioned us out of dreams and memories.
I can't believe it never occurred to me. They're animats. Ancient vessels held together with duty and loyalty. Their design is unusual, organic, much like the garden itself. Sapadal's work. All this time, your god has been making imaginary friends, drawing pictures on the walls of their cell. It's almost too sad to imagine. I know they are. My mother and father would not have wanted this. A good animancer embraces death, and they were the best. I don't hold you responsible. I don't even know if I hold Sapadal responsible. Your god has the intelligence of a scatterbrained goat, but that isn't their fault. It's simply how they came into being. One final question, spirits. What is this? Why are you trying to ruin my life again? Is this your way of haunting me? What is it you want?
That's 4 questions.
We want to apologize on Sapadal's behalf, and for the part we played in your sorrow.
They want to apologize. I came to the garden for answers, not to offer forgiveness. You're right. I'm the one who has to live with the consequences of their actions. If you seek forgiveness, look for it within. Don't ask me to give up any more than I already have.
We understand. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. And thank you, Godlike, for bringing her all this way. The time has come for you to find your patron, as you were meant to.
A garden is whatever you plant in it.
Sapadal wishes to be understood, as all mortals do. Seen, as all mortals are. What you see is the truth, glimpsed through their eyes, and they wish to share it.
Now that you have returned to the garden, Sapadal has everything they need. We will fade, as all things fade. Death is indifferent, not cruel, not merciful, merely inevitable. The pulling of an ancient weed.
We will return to the soil from which we emerged. In time, you will do the same. May the living lands receive you with open arms. Farewell.
Goodbye. We need to talk about this, but not here.
This... This feels like one of those times when getting answers doesn't mean getting closure.
On board. What do you... Pleasant dreams.
All this time, I thought my parents died in a freak accident. An experiment gone awry. A mistake. And in a way, they did. But it wasn't their mistake. It was Sapadal's. I don't resent them for asking, but when you consider what they took from me, I am under no obligation to give them anything. This whole experience has me considering my family's work in a different light. Look at what my mother accomplished. Armed with her research and her wits, she found a god. When you speak to a god, it's nothing. barely a reflex. But for the rest of us, it's unimaginable. No Animancer can live up to that. Certainly not me. I thought their legacy was a curse, and I could only break it by completing their work. I was wrong. I suppose I have been all this time. I just never realized it. One thing is certain. When it comes to animancy, I need to unlearn some of my old assumptions. I wanted to tame the spirit of the living lands. Now, there's so much about it I don't understand. And it's creepy, but wonderful. Perhaps, as long as no one gets in my way. I believe the power flowing out of the garden drove this island mad. That has to end. Through animancy, we could help the living lands recover. It would take a lifetime, maybe more, but that's a small price to pay. Then again, who am I to interfere with an ecosystem that I barely understand? On the other hand, half the fun of animancy is stirring the pot and getting into trouble. I think I know what I want, but there are too many variables to consider. What do you think? Of course you trust me. I'm brilliant. But we've been together long enough that I value your opinion.